Guys are back here at the table. Their new book, Think Like a Freak, offers to retrain your brain so you can tackle problems in a fresh, fun way. Stephen Levitt and Stephen Dubner join us once again. Welcome.
Good morning.
Your book, Freakonomics, was a national bestseller, still very, very popular. What's different in this book?
Well, the first two books were really just us describing the world in our weird way, fun way, we like to think. And then we thought, wouldn't it be nice if we could actually help people, whether it's families solving their problems or governments, which God knows need a lot of help these days. And so we tried to put our thinking into a set of sort of rules and principles, almost parables to live by. So that's the idea here.
And Stephen, you say, and when we say Stephen, how do you know what Stephen I'm talking to?
Levitt and Dubner, we go by last names. Yeah.
All right, Levitt, we'll go with you. Because you say freaks like to have fun, number one, but it's also good to think like a child. I love that section. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, as we started to think about what made us different, we realized we're really just very childish, and we don't rule anything out, and we tend to think really small. We don't try to answer the big questions. We try to take the smallest questions, and we go for the obvious a lot of the times, things that other people wouldn't think were reasonable. But
kids have no preconceptions or bias.
Right, and you follow your curiosity too.
Yes.
That's all. And, you know, everybody's been in that meeting where the boss says, "We're just brainstorming. There are no stupid ideas," right? And then you say, "Okay, how about this?" Then they say, "Oh, there are some stupid." And once you've been hit like that a couple times, you stop. And so I think we can all learn to think like a child.
Steve Jobs used to always say, you got to look at things with a beginner's eye, you know, with a fresh eye.
Yeah, absolutely. When I do some work with firms, and the only good advice I ever give firms is because I know nothing at all, and I ask questions that they think are ridiculous. But then when you press on, oftentimes it's the best ideas are the ones that are right in front of us. We can't see them because we're blinded by conventional wisdom.
One of the best examples I thought of freak thinking was a hot dog champ that you talk about, because most people think, how do I eat more hot dogs? But he thought what, Dubner?
Yeah,
This is Kobayashi.
Takeru Kobayashi, known as Kobe, who's an amazingly interesting guy and has become a friend of ours, lives in New York now. So instead of thinking, how can I in these contests eat more hot dogs, which is what the traditional competitive eaters thought, he thought, how can I make one hot dog easier to eat? And broke it down, and because he asked a really different question, he came up with a totally different set of strategies, so wildly good that his first year out, he not only broke the world record, but doubled it, which world records don't get doubled.
What was his strategy?
You know, it involves many parts. Instead of feeding the dog with two hands, he would break it in half to start with. Do some of the work with your hands that your mouth would otherwise be doing. Separate the dog from the bun. It's easier to swallow the dog alone. Dip the bun in warm water and soak the bun in warm water. So even if we don't want to become competitive eaters ourselves, we can all benefit from soaking our buns in warm water. That's
okay.
You know, so a lot of breaking down the problem, redefining the problem. And even though this is a kind of silly example, none of us want to be competitive eating champions, I assume. Charlie, I don't know, maybe that's the dream. But what we try to say is that whatever problem you're trying to solve, poverty, famine, income inequality, a lot of times we define the problem wrong. We look at the thing that bothers us most as opposed to asking a new question and trying to get a new set of solutions.
Let's turn to golf.
Yeah. That's their sweet spot for both of them.
So apply all this to golf.
One thing we've been doing is actually collecting data.
You're a good golfer. He's
getting better. I'm getting worse, so we're going to be about the same pretty soon. But we've been bringing amateurs out on the course and doing experiments where we put them into trouble and we have them either play safely or more aggressively. And so we think that an amateur golfer could cut about 4 strokes off their game just by thinking smarter around the course. But the problem is, a lot of what golfers, I think, amateurs are trying to do is not get low scores. They want to sit in the locker room and the bar afterwards and talk about how they threaded the needle under the water, over the water, under the trees.
Well, a lot of people think golf is a metaphor for life, but be specific. How do you cut those? How do you cut 4 strokes?
So I'll give you an example. Golfers are much worse than they think. And so when there is a flag that's cut close to a water hazard, for the typical golfer, the right place to aim is about 40 feet to the right. If the pin is by there's no amateur golfer in the world who actually aims there, and that's why the water hazards are filled with balls of people who are hitting balls in the water, when if they just hit it safe over to the other side of the green or and chip toward it, they could save a lot of strokes.
This is great. My ball always goes right.
That's advice. Aim left.
Another thing I thought was relatable in your book was the upside of quitting, because you said whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, so many of us are focused on we got to do it, and you're saying no.
Well,
you got to stop thinking like that.
We've all been coached and taught throughout our whole lives to never give up anything, right? Vince Lombardi made it the famous phrase here, winners never quit, quitters never win. Churchill, never, never, never give up. Now, if you are the prime minister of a great nation facing extinction by the Nazi German government, then yes, not giving up is a great idea. For most of us, the stakes aren't as high. So when you're in a job, a relationship, a project, there's a thing called the sunk cost fallacy, where you put a lot into something and you think, well, I have to keep going.
See it through, yeah.
And so we argue that there are a lot of cases where we would all do better by accepting failure as a fruitful end of something and moving on with the next one. Both of us have quit a lot of stuff, and we're biased. Look, everybody's biased. We may be biased in favor of quitting because we've quit and ended up happy, but I think a lot of people can benefit from that.
It's not just quitting, it's quitting quickly, failing quickly. The quicker you fail, the more time you have to do something worthwhile.
So you can move on to something else. You even talk about your kids, Stephen Levitt, that you don't encourage them to be good in math and writing. You encourage them to think and be excited about something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind if they're good at math and writing, but I figure every kid learns how to read and every kid learns how to do math. But when I look at my college students, my PhDs, what they have trouble with is ideas and creativity. So I figure anything you can do to make a happy, creative kid is something that gives them a leg up on the world.
And one other chapter you write, how to persuade people who don't want to be persuaded.
Yeah, rule number one, give up. Because, you know, the biases that most of us carry when it comes to the hot button issues of the day are so deep, and smarter people are really good at finding more evidence to confirm what they already believe as opposed to trying to round it out. So persuading people is really hard. If you would need to do it, though, we have a list of suggestions. One is, don't pretend your argument is perfect. That's the problem with a lot of the punditry, is you have people on one side shouting at the other as though I'm 100% right.
The only thing I would add to that is let the other person know that you hear them and that their argument is clear to you.
Right, and that there may be some merit in their argument too, because really, if you're trying to persuade someone, you're trying to reach a solution, not just trying to win the argument. And so, you know, there's some room for compromise.
Great.
Bottom line is freaks like to have fun. Got to think outside the box. Thank you both.
Thank you
Good
very
to see
much.
you guys. Stephen Levitt and Stephen Dubner. Dubner and Levitt. Think Like a Freak is on sale wherever you like to buy your book.
Then, along came the new gasoline shovels, and the new electric shovels, and the new diesel motor shovels, and took all the jobs away from the steam shovels. All the other steam shovels were being sold for junk or left out in old gravel pits to rust and fall apart. Mike loved Mary Ann. He couldn't do that to her. He had taken such good care of her that she could still dig as much in a day as 100 men could dig in a week. At least he thought she could, but he wasn't quite sure. Everywhere they went, the new gas shovels and the new electric shovels and the new diesel motor shovels had all the jobs. No one wanted Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann anymore.
Electricity, and you see how good I can be. I got a diesel engine, and honey, we forgot to mention, we're gonna take your job away. Well, you know the job belongs to us now, honey. You just move out of the way. No steam. No steam shovels wanted. No steam shovels wanted. You've got trouble. We look so fine, we're working all the time. Face it, honey, we're better than you. There's not a thing that you can do. Oh, my motor's running. Girl, you've been done it. We're gonna take your job away. Don't you know you are yesterday? I tell you yesterday before yesterday. And I don't want to hear nothing about your job. I don't think I got anybody. No steam shovels wanted. No steam shovels wanted. No, no
Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann were very sad. What are we gonna do? No one seems to want us anymore. What are we gonna do? No one seems to want us anymore. It seems like yesterday you could hear the people say that we could move a mountain or anything in our way. But now that's just a dream, 'cause if you run on steam, no one wants you anymore. What are we gonna do? No one seems to want us anymore. They come from miles around to watch us dig into the ground, and everybody knew we were the best that could be found. But now we've been told that we're getting old, and no one wants us anymore. Where is it written that things can't stay the same? The fix is in, we'll never win if we can't get in the game. It wasn't all that long ago they cheered for me and you, but they say that things are different now, and there's nothing we can do. I know that time goes on, the years just move along. I guess we've been forgotten now, the good old days are gone. But the things we did back then, we could do again. But no one wants us, no one needs us, no one wants us anymore. What are we gonna do? No one wants us anymore.